Madam President, I rise to talk about why approval of the Keystone XL pipeline is not in the national interest and why it places our nation's families at risk. There is a reason why it's taking a long time to get this approved. It's because it's very controversial, and there are some irrefutable facts that I think need to be laid on the table about this pipeline. I also want to say how discouraging it is to me to see a senator come here and offer an unrelated amendment that has to be seen, in my mind, as an attack on working people who happen to work for their country and try and derail this bill. It is wrong. And let's be clear, if a senator doesn't want to have health care here, take yourself out of it. If you don't think your staff deserves to have a health care benefit as an employer, you know what? Tell them they don't have to take it. Tell them to opt out. Tell them it would please you if they didn't have that benefit. But to see a good bill like this, shepherded by a great chairman, Ron Wyden, and two terrific senators here on this particular piece of legislation, Senators Shaheen-Portman, to see this bill get derailed because someone wants to attack working people is unfortunate, absolutely unfortunate. Now, let me just say, you know, one of my colleagues said, oh, this is all the people in America want the XL pipeline. I don't know, maybe in her state that's true. It's not true in my state, and it's not true in many states. As a matter of fact, that's why there have been 1.2 million comments to the State Department from various public agencies and private parties, from Native American tribes and others. And I think when the President said on June 25th, our national interests will be served only if this project does not significantly exacerbate the problem of carbon pollution, that he was speaking the truth. Now, you'd have to be asleep for 10, 15 years to not believe that carbon pollution is dangerous to the planet. And you know Senator Whitehouse will follow with his comments on this. But when you listen to the debate, I didn't hear one person say carbon pollution is a problem. Now, the Keystone XL would ship one of the dirtiest fuels on the planet through America's heartland and through critical water supplies. It will significantly increase carbon pollution, and the oil will be exported to other countries. So to stand here and say, not even address the issue of pollution and not even admit that most of this oil will be exported, I just don't think is a fair argument. Now, to put it into context, if the full range of products produced from tar sands crude oil, such as petroleum coke, is taken into account, EPA estimates that tar sands would create 30% more carbon pollution than domestic oil. 30% more. We'd see carbon pollution of over 18 million more metric tons, according to the State Department. Now, I'll close with this. Again, you'd have to be asleep if you didn't notice Superstorm Sandy and what it cost us, not only in lives and in damage, but in dollars. You'd have to be asleep if you haven't noticed that Yosemite National Park is close to burning. Thank the Lord God we have firefighters who are protecting it. The fire is still burning. You'd have to be asleep if you didn't notice what is happening to our oceans, to our economy. And we had just the other day a meeting of folks out there, from farmers to recreational industry people, who were saying their world is changing because of climate change. But yet you don't hear our colleagues talking about that. And they say, oh, there's no problem. Well, how about the fact that a Nebraska study found that Keystone XL is likely to have 91 major spills over its 50-year lifetime. And tar sands oil is very difficult to capture if the pipelines rupture. I'm going to ask unanimous consent to place the rest of my statement into the record, if I might.
Without objection.
And say that for all the talk about jobs, when you look at the permanent jobs, we're looking at 50 jobs. And what are the chances that there's going to be spills? What are the chances that we're going to hurt this planet? And what are the chances that if we were smart and we did what this underlying bill is doing, which is make sure we have incentives for alternatives that are clean, that are made in America, that work for us, there'll be many more jobs. That's the kind of alternative I want to see. Now, they may pass their amendment if we ever get to it, if they can stop this attack on our working people that is evident in an amendment that's been offered. But I got to tell you, I know there's a better way, and I'd like to see us make sure that we consider, when we say XL is great, all of the reasons why there's so much controversy surrounding it. Thank you very much, and I yield the floor.